What's up, guys? Dr. Seth back to help you solve your powerlifter problems. So, see a lot of lifters training rack pulls, hitting huge numbers, and then going to the meet and pulling like 100 pounds less than they hit with a rack pull. And the problem with that is that if you were doing that, if you were that guy, you were doing rack pulls like an asshole. So cut that shit out. And the big misconception, the big problem with how people are doing rack pulls is that they're thinking that the rack pull or a block pull or any elevated deadlift, they are trying to do it to overload their deadlift. And if you're doing it to overload your deadlift to put more pounds on it, you are missing the point, because the point of a rack pull is not to lift unrealistic weights or lift weights beyond what your 1 rep max is. The point of a rack pull is to overload specific aspects of your deadlift, not to put more pounds on the bar. Because if we're just putting pounds on the bar and we're putting ourselves in a position that is super unrealistic to where we could actually pull a deadlift from, it's not going to help us actually pull a deadlift, because we're just cheating away from what actually needs to be trained. So when we are doing a rack pull or a block pull, the whole idea is not that we want to, again, overload the movement. We want to put more weight into our hips, into our back, to make our hips and back stronger. How we're going to do that is we're going to remove leg drive from the rack pull, remove leg drive from the block pull. So we're going to be doing it with a stiffer leg position than we would be pulling from the floor. And when I see lifters fucking up the rack pulls, what they end up doing is they end up setting up similar distance from the bar that they would be doing on their normal deadlift. They're going to have a lot of knee bend, and then when they're on the bar, they're able to get super friggin' upright and almost make it like a trap bar leg press type movement. And there's no way that if I was pulling from the floor, I would ever have this torso angle at any point through the lift until I'm right at lockout. So if I'm doing that on a rack pull, I'm making it so much easier on my hips, so much easier on my back than I would have a normal deadlift, and that is missing the point of the movement. So when I'm setting up for a rack pull, for a block pull, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to try to bend over. I'm going to set up relatively close to the bar so I can't have a lot of knee bend. And when I'm doing this, I'm trying to have the almost exact same torso angle that I would if I were actually pulling from the floor. So I am pretty bent over here. That way it just becomes a lot of hip, a lot of back in order to get myself up to lockout. Doing it this way, you should find that it is actually way harder to break the bar off the rack, off the blocks, than it is to break the bar off of the floor. And you should find that if you're doing a block pull right or a rack pull right, you should be weaker than you are off the floor, or at least very close to your strength off the floor. It is extremely rare that if I do a training cycle of block pulls or of rack pulls, that I do not beat my best block pull on meet day from the floor. So if you guys are hitting bigger numbers off a rack or a block than you are in the meet day, you're fucking up your rack pulls, you're fucking up your block pulls, so stop doing them like an asshole. Bend over, put some back into it, put some hips into it, and take leg drive out of the lift. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to run some block pulls in your program, if you want to run some rack pulls in your program, hop on the Activated Performance app, because I do have programs that are rack and block heavy, and they will only work if you don't do them like an asshole, so don't do them like an asshole. Peace out. Thank you for watching.